Good morning, Primary 6. Are you ready for today's session? Let's start. As you know, that the population increases in these days, so we try to improve the soil of the desert to use it. Do you know how can we improve the soil of the desert? The improving of the soil of the desert, it has many ways, like they improve the soil quality. As you know that the soil of the desert, it doesn't have any fertilizers or any minerals, so they try to improve the soil quality by increasing the amount of the minerals and the fertilizers. And also they try to plant the crops which are able to grow in the hot climate. As you know that most of the animals can't grow in the hot climate, so we try to find the animals which can grow on the hot climate. And also you know that there is just little amount of the water inside the desert, so they use new ways to irrigate the crops. Like they try to recycle the water again to use it to farm the desert. Also we can use the solar energy which comes from the sun, and we can use the wind turbines. Look here in this picture, what can you see? Super, there is a mountain ranges. Do you know what is the meaning of mountain ranges? Super, like a group of mountains which are connected to each other. But as you can see here, each mountain, it has two sides. Side which faces the coast, and this side is called wet side. And the side which is far away from the coast, and this side, it will be dry side. Have you ever asked yourself why does this side is considered as a wet side? Think more. Super, because this side is near to the coast. So as we know that the ocean or the sea will be heated by the effect of the sun, and then it will evaporate. So can anyone remind me what happens when the water vapor starts to come into the air? Super, it will cool, and then it will condenses, and it will come back again to the earth in form of rain or sleet. So this side will be wet because of the precipitation. What about the other side? The other side, there is no rain there, so it contains dry air only. So when the dry air comes to this area, it forms like something like the desert or a dry place. So this side will be dry. You know that in each part of the mountain, it has its properties. Like the bottom of the mountain, it has high temperature, high atmospheric pressure, and high density, while the upper part of the mountain, it has low temperature, low atmospheric pressure, and low density. Do you know why does the upper part it has low temperature? Super, because as the height increases by 150 meters, the temperature decreases by 1 Celsius. So we found that the upper parts of the mountain will be covered with snow. We have a branch on the science which responsible for predicting the weather. This branch is called meteorology. Repeat after me, meteorology. And the scientists who study the weather and predict the weather is called meteorologist. Repeat after me, meteorologist. Weather radar. The weather radar produces electromagnetic waves. The electromagnetic waves start to move until it hits a precipitation or a wind, and then it comes back to the weather radar. So the weather radar can measure the speed of the precipitation or the wind. The anemometer, we use it to measure the speed of the wind. And also we can use, he also needs to measure the temperature. So he uses a device which is called thermometer. Repeat after me, thermometer. And also he can use a barometer, which is used to measure the atmospheric pressure. But these tools sometimes they are heavy, so the meteorologist needs some other tools to carry these tools. So he uses tools like weather balloons and satellites to carry the tools which are heavy, or to send the information to the weather station. As we said before, that we use the barometer to measure the atmospheric pressure. But what is the meaning of atmospheric pressure? Atmospheric pressure means the weight of the air that exert on an area, or the force of the air that can exerted on an area. After collecting the data, the meteorologist try to draw a weather map. The weather map helps the meteorologist to put all the information which are collected by different tools. Also, the meteorologist needs to measure the amount of the water vapor which is found inside the air, and this is called humidity. So the humidity means the amount of the water vapor which is found inside the air. From we have studied in the previous concept, can anyone remind me how does the precipitation happen? Super. After the water vapor condenses on the clouds become too heavy and cannot hold the water drops anymore. So it starts to release it, and the water fall again to the ground in form of rain, sleet. But can anyone tell me what happens if there is little amount of the precipitation happen? Think more. Super. This causes drought. Do you know what is the meaning of drought? Drought means there is a shortage of the water which is needed for food or for the plants to grow. Can anyone guess what happens when there is too much precipitation? Super, it causes flood. When the amount of the water increase inside the river, so it starts to come out of the river bank and causes flood. But what are the harms of the flood? The flood can cause the breaking down of the buildings, moving them away from their place, and also it can cause the death for humans and animals. Have you ever heard the word sandstorm or dust storm? Do you know what is the reason that form the sandstorm? The sandstorm is formed when there is a strong wind is blowing on an area, and this causes the formation of a dry place, which we call it desert. But what are the harms of the sandstorm? The sandstorm can prevent the driver from seeing the road clearly. Also, if the sandstorm comes to a solar panel, it prevents it from generating electricity. And also, the sandstorm can damage the engine of the plane. Thank you, Prime 6. See you soon.